And at this time, I'm going to call up Alexis McDonald-LaMarche, another committee member who's going to induct the 1984 New Waterford Dodgers Intermediate Champs.
Thank you, Darren. See? Okay. No story could be told about the 1984 New Waterford Dodgers Intermediate A Championship team without mentioning longtime baseball star, coach, and community supporter Ray Bozo Steele. Bozo, yes. Where are they at? Bozo restarted senior baseball in New Waterford in 1982 when the Dodgers were awarded the Maritime Senior Championships on the strength of an excellent bid based on the town's great facilities and rich baseball history. In that tournament, the Dodgers came within a run of representing Nova Scotia at the Canadian Championships. Throughout the next 6 years, Bozo worked tirelessly to run the team almost single-handedly, and there's no doubt that without his efforts, this championship would never have happened. In 1983-1984, the Dodgers competed in the Richmond Intermediate A Baseball League. In both years, the Dodgers won the right to compete in the provincials, and after finishing second in 1983 to Joggins, the team would not be denied again in 84 and won the provincial title against teams from Weymouth, Joggins, and Lewisdale. Wins over Weymouth and Joggins forced a showdown with the local rival Lewisdale boys, who had beaten the Dodgers 10-3 in the tournament opener. Strong pitching and clutch hitting powered them over the guys 6-3 and 1-zip. The locals were forced to beat Lewisdale twice because of the double knockout tournament rules. The New Waterford team was off to the Atlantic tournament that was scheduled for St. John, New Brunswick. Due to lack of communication or misunderstanding, it was discovered that the tournament would be in Belledune, New Brunswick, a community 725 kilometers from New Waterford. For a second, there were thoughts of not going because of the distance and expense, but Bozo was determined to take a run at the title and to put his fundraising and organizing skills to work to make it happen. The Dodgers brought their bats to Belledune and pounded out 31 hits in 4 games to win the Atlantic title. This tournament was a round-robin format, so a 6-5 loss to Newfoundland forced a winner-takes-all game between the Dodgers and the PEI team from Fort Augustus. Pius Burke, pitching his second consecutive game, was up to the task, allowing only 6 hits, and Edison Clements hit a grand slam in the 4th inning, and it sealed the victory for the New Waterford club. The victory was sweet for Bozo, as it marked the 25th anniversary of New Waterford Giants winning the Maritime Senior Championship as a player in 1959. It is the committee's honor to be inducting the 1984 New Waterford Dodgers into the New Waterford and District Sports Hall of Fame. I'll invite the present members and members representing of the team to come forward to receive their awards. I'd like to invite Fons Brenna, please. Come on down, Fons. We'll be following with David Rocky Burchell. Bobby Burke. Pius Burke as player. Edison Clements. Wayne Crow was also an active member on the team. His son, Tony Crow, will be accepting his award. Tracy Durwell. Joe Doyle. Donald Smokey Ferguson. Greg Hawley, also active on the team, and wife Kathy will be accepting his award. Thank you, Kathy. Paul Johnson. Charlie McClellan. Roddy McNeil. John Reed. David Roach. The baby Mark Walzak. The team was coached by Ray Bozo Steele, and his son Charles will be accepting the award. Assistant coach was Mike Spike McKinnon. And Pius was also acting as coach as well. And the statistician was Jim Mears. Pius, you have another award as a coach as well. Double. Thanks, buddy. And there we have our inductees, the 1984 New Waterford Dodgers. I'd like to invite Charlie McClellan up to say a few words. Oh, Charlie, you're up. Thank you. Congratulations.
Good evening. First, on behalf of my teammates, I'd like to thank the members of the Hall of Fame Committee, past and present, for not only nominating our team tonight, but for all the work that has gone into creating this hall and the ongoing work that is done every year to conduct new members. It's great to have a venue to celebrate the athletic achievements of our town's residents. We'd also like to congratulate the other inductees tonight as well. A little background on the team. The beginnings of this team were in 1981 when Bozo and Lowell Cormier put a team together to play the Nova Scotia Canada Games junior team in a couple of exhibition games. They did so well that Bozo and Lowell wondered if they could bring back senior baseball to New Waterford. As far as we know, I think the mid-'60s was the last time we had senior baseball in New Waterford, and I know the junior team stopped operation in 1975. So they had a nucleus of players, and they called for tryouts to put a team together to complete the roster. In the meantime, they applied for the '82 Maritime Senior Championships at the newly renovated Jerry Marsh ball field. Amazingly, New Waterford was chosen as the host for the tournament, much to the chagrin of the Sydney Sooners, who had also applied to host. The Nova Scotia Senior Baseball League retaliated by forbidding any of its players to join our team, as each team was allowed 6 pickups in the province. We then picked up several players from the Richmond League, and that's where our connection with that league started. In the tournament, we did well. We lost to Sydney in the semifinals 10-9, and as was said before, we missed out on a chance to go to the Canadian Championships. Just a side note on that one, Alexa's father, Gary, was our shortstop, and he had a 3-run homer in the first inning, and then he got hurt in the 3rd or 4th inning, hurt his hand on a ground ball, and couldn't play anymore. So that might have made a difference in that game. So after that, we knew we weren't getting in the senior league, so Bozo applied to the Richmond League, and we were accepted, and of course we won in '83 and '84. And the '84 tournament was interesting because the whole weekend rained, and we only got in one game, which was the one we lost to Lewisdale, and then we had to play all the games on Monday, and because of the time constraints, they were shortened to 7 innings. So we had to beat 2 other teams, and then we had to beat Lewisdale twice. So we played 4 games in one day. And the 4th game, the championship game that we won 1-0, was a 9-inning affair because it was the championship game. So obviously we played a lot of ball on that day. And if I remember right, in the first game against Lewisdale, we were losing into the late innings, and then we rallied to win at the end. And then we won the other game 1-0. Wayne Crow drove in the only run in the 4th inning. It was quite a grind, 4 games in one day. Smokey pitched 2 of them, and Pius pitched the other 2. Everybody was sore and tired. The A5 35 liniment was the prevailing smell in the dugout. As we weren't young kids, we were all late 20s, early 30s. We were grown men. And as we discussed, the Atlantic tournament was in Belledune, and it was a long haul to get there because it's 8 hours away, and there was a lot of road work. was in September when we got there. It was cold, wasn't good for baseball. But we followed the same script. Smokey pitched 2 games and Pius pitched 2 games. Dave Roach and Greg Holly did some work there too. And we hit well, and we won the tournament. And we joked that Pius and Smokey couldn't lift their arms up high enough to comb their hair after that tournament, since they were so sore. We played as a team to mention, but I'd like to mention a few things that stand out for me. The toughness of Smokey and Pius, the grit to play all those innings, especially sometimes back-to-back, to pitch those games hard on the arm. Eddie Kennedy, who caught every one of those games, and if you've ever caught in a baseball, or you don't even have to catch to know how physically demanding that position is. Our shortstop, Mark Walzak, who I found out tonight was only 16 when he was playing, whereas I thought he was 17 or 18. He couldn't even come to the tavern with us, but then again, I heard he caught up pretty quickly. And he was one of the few that didn't need the A535 like the rest of us. Eddie Clemens came from Glace Bay to play with us, and he said it was the most enjoyable season he ever had playing ball. And of course, he hit the grand slam in the final game to secure the victory. Roddy McNeil worked at the liquor store in Waterford, and Bozo coaxed him to try baseball instead of fastball. By far, he had the strongest throwing arm of any ball player I ever played with. Major league arm, no question. Of course, a couple more years of baseball, and he was on the A535 like the rest of us. And lastly, of course, the memberships, or the friendships, the memories, and the laughs we had. Just one story I remember, I think it was after the '83 tournament. I'm not sure, all the years tend to mesh in. We went to a bar, we did that a lot, and we were having a few beers, and there was a few girls from the Waterford there, good friends of Margie's, and they said, "Where's Pius?" I said, "He's back at the hotel, the horse." I said, he can't come out, he's too tired. And they were mad at me, angry at me for saying Pius was a horse, but I had to explain to them that that's a good term. If you're a baseball pitcher, that means you're tough. Lastly, we'd like to thank some of the people who helped out and made this team a reality. Somebody said the best part of this honor is that you get to thank all the people that helped along the way. Jimmy Mears was our statistician, and he came to almost all our games and traveled with the team. He loved baseball, took his job seriously. He was a kind soul, and we all enjoyed having him around. Spike McKinnon was with the team from the start, and his vast baseball knowledge was an asset to everyone, especially the pitchers. Lowell Corner helped to start the team, even played a little, and helped Bozo in countless ways. A special thanks to, and I was going to say Ray McIsaac, but apparently it was his van, and Archie McDonald, Gary's brother, drove it, but a couple of the guys couldn't make the trip to Beldoon with us because they had work commitments and other things. So they left in the Waterford at 2 o'clock in the morning for an 11 o'clock game in Beldoon the next day. So they were all kinds of stories about the hair-raising ride that was. And a shout out to the 3 or 4 fans, although I have no idea who they were, that made the trip. And they were doing the wave by our dugout several times. And of course, thank you to our wives who put up with us and allowed us to play baseball and didn't get upset with us most of the time. But most of all, I want to thank Ray Bozo Steele for his commitment to baseball back to New Waterford at that time, bringing baseball back. If there's no Bozo, there's no team, full stop. He coached, he recruited, he organized dances, sold tickets to raise money. He worked tirelessly to keep the team going for 6 years. 1 year, actually, we played 2 years in the Richmond League, and then they threw us out. They said they didn't want to travel anymore, but we all know it was because we won the league both years. And then we applied for the senior league. We couldn't get in, so we had a year where we didn't have anywhere to play. Bozo organized a 4-team league, split the players up amongst the 4 teams, got some other guys to play, and we played all year, baseball all that year. Bozo, of course, brought the bats and balls, had a referee. I mean, he was just, a force. After our team had run its course, Bozo turned his attention to the Coal Bowl, and everybody knows how dedicated he was to that. It was said that when Bozo had to retire from volunteering at the Coal Bowl because of his health, it took 5 years, or 5 people to replace the work he did. All of our team owes a debt of gratitude to Bozo for giving us a chance to play a little bit of baseball and enjoy this honor tonight. And I know I was speaking to Pius Saturday night, and we just loved playing baseball. And the opportunity to do that while we were still fairly young, to get that bug out of our system was great. In closing, we'd like to